Hi everybody, Ezra Levant here. I'm the Rebel Commander at rebelnews.com. Every day at 12 noon Eastern Time, we sit down here. I do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My friends Sheila Gunn Reed and David Menzies do it Tuesday, Thursday. And we take your questions live. It's called a super chat. That's what YouTube calls it. That's when you throw a few bucks behind your chat. Puts it in a bright color. We always like to read those ones because we actually are allowed by YouTube to keep 70% of those revenues, which helps us because they've demonetized us largely. But really what I like about these noontime chats is the banter, the back and forth. There's some regulars, lots of regulars. I like the fact that it's not scripted, so we could just sort of wander a little bit, wander based on what the questions say. My friend Justin puts together a sheet of things that he's seen me chatting about or tweeting about in the previous day or so. He knows, he's worked with me long enough, he knows the things I like to talk about. Sometimes I go through all of them. I think we managed to get through all of them on Wednesday. Sometimes I actually get through none of them. But that's part of the fun of it. It's not scripted. I find live TV goes very quickly. Scripted TV, for example, every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I do a scripted show. Tonight, obviously, that scripted show is going to be about 9/11. You know, I had forgotten, but about 10 years ago, I went to Ground Zero on September 11th. I was invited to give a speech there. There was a rally, and I did. I was, I didn't think I would be overcome by emotion. I really was. I watched the video again today. Look at how thin and I was. Look how dark my hair was. Presentable. Look at all that hair. And I remember how hard it was to deliver the speech. In fact, I thought I was crying when I remembered it because it sure felt that way. I was trying to keep back. I was trying to stop. I did not cry, but in my mind I was, which is a funny way to have a memory, isn't it? I'll play that speech on tonight's show and I'll give my reflections some 19 years after the attack. But I'm an old man now. I'm 48 and a half. And 9/11 was in many ways the defining moment of my generation. I'm typically called Gen X. Just the same way that the shooting of John F. Kennedy was the defining moment of the baby boomers. And of course, after Gen X came the millennials. And after the millennials comes Generation Z, or the Zoomers, as some call them. People born, essentially, after 9/11. Would they even know about it? I was born in 1972. What do I know about the Vietnam War that was contemporaneous with my birth? Why would I know anything? Do you think I was taught it in school? And just as people have forgotten about World War II and Korea and the First World War, and do you think anyone even knows what the Boer War was? Canada fought in that. The War of 1812, that's ancient history now. Do you really think Generation Z, the Zoomers, Generation Z, as our American friends would say, do you really think they know a thing about 9/11? I sent, did Andrew go downtown to do? Yeah, he did. Andrew Chapados, who subs in pretty frequently on this live stream. I sent him a note today and I said, go downtown to Yonge and Dundas Square. That's sort of Toronto's Times Square in New York City. Yonge and Dundas Square is the closest thing you'll find to that in Toronto. Lots of people milling about, young people. It's hip, it's stores, it's cool restaurants, it's big jumbotron ads. It's got a lively feeling there. Sometimes there's street festivals, obviously not during the age of the pandemic, but you can still get people to stop and chat because it's not really it's not like Bay Street where everyone on the street is a busy lawyer or banker and they don't want to stop and talk. But Yonge Dundas, people don't mind to stop and chat. And I said, I'll read you. I'll read you the questions that I suggested to Andrew to ask. Let me see if I can find them here. I said, go up to folks. Andrew's a pretty friendly guy, gets people to talk to him. I said, here's 9 questions. What do you think of these? And I'll have the results, he'll have the results this afternoon, and I'll probably put that in my evening show too. Do you know what day it is today? I bet you most people will not. What are you talking about? They'll say. Today's 9/11. Do you know what that is? 9/11. I bet you at least 50% will say, what's that? I bet you. You going to take that bet? Question 3. What happened on 9/11? I bet you most people won't have an answer. What year did it happen? I bet you 75% of people will not know. How many people died? The answer is about 3,000. Between the Trade Center, the Pentagon, and of course that field where the passengers took control of the plane and invaded the cockpit. Was that Flight 93? About 3,000. I don't think 10% of people, I don't think 5% of people will know. Who were the good guys and who were the bad guys? Try asking that question about World War I and World War II. Don't even try. You'll be too embarrassed for your country. Do you think it's important to remember what happened? Why or why not? Should Canada care? So those are my first 8 questions. Do you really think they're going to be answered? And then my 9th question is, hey, what's Cardi B's new single? I predict that 75% of people will know that. So that's what Andrew's doing right now. I hope he succeeds. What do you think? What do you think? And it makes me very sad because I know the results in advance. Sometimes you do streeters, it's really funny, it's good for a laugh. One of my favorite streeters of all time is Jimmy Kimmel. When he sent someone out on the street just to ask, I mean, it's almost impossible to believe, but you can see it with your own eyes. He says, can you name a book? Not name a book that you've read, not name fiction or nonfiction, just can you name a book? And 10 people in a row cannot even name a book. Just say the Bible. Have you ever heard? Just say Harry Potter. Just say a book, even if you just say Guinness Book of World Records. Just say a cookbook. I'll play just a tiny clip of it. I don't want to get this whole thing demonetized. But it was just incredible. Just play 30 seconds of it.
Name a book.
Oh, yes. I don't read books. But, what's it called?
Can you name a book?
No.
Can you name a book?
I'll try and read.
How about just say a cookbook, The Joy of Cooking? How about just say the dictionary? Do you know what a book is? Do you know what a book is? Now, I get it. You know, if someone said, what book are you reading right now? I'm not reading a book right now. I got a book on my desk that I've been trying to read. It's called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. I read a bit of it. But, you know, so maybe people are stressed out. They think, oh, I should have a good answer. That you don't need a good answer. What are you reading right now? You don't need a good answer. It's not a personal answer. What are you reading? It's can you name a book? Have you heard of the Good Book? That's a nickname for the Bible. Just any book. That, we didn't want to show too much of that because we'll probably get demonetized. What are you reading right now? Oh, Justin. That's what Justin just said. I know what I'm reading right now. China virus. No, that's a book lit. That's a mini book. That's a large brochure. I can't remember how many pages it is. It's a quick read, and it's priced accordingly. No, listen, people like that book because it gave them facts that you would not see in the mainstream media. Okay, there are some super chats, and I'm going to try and get through some of these viz that Justin has put together. We got 720 people watching now, which is not as high as was yesterday. I tuned in for a bit as David and Sheila went. They're just simply more popular than me, and it's something I have to live with. Okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to read some of the Super Chats. Thank you in advance for these Super Chats. They help pay the bills. Laird Kintyre, $10. The only thing more deplorable than governments robbing us of life's simple joys through unnecessary COVID restrictions is how far too many of us simply comply. Ezra, please tell the Lipsil story. Oh, you know what, I think I overhyped it. You know this is lip balm, right? Lipsil is a brand. This is Nivea. It's just lip balm, right? It's just, your lips are dry or whatever. It's nothing, right? I mean, I don't really even have a brand. I mean, I just don't want something that is red. I don't want my lips to be red that looks like lipstick. I don't care. I really don't care about the flavor or the scent or whatever. Plain is good for me. I just, my lips are dry. I put this on. I don't even think about it. In fact, I sort of lose these, right? You lose it, you put it down, you buy another one. It's a convenience item. What's this cost? $1 or $2? Doesn't even matter. Frankly, they last so very long. You almost never use them up. You lose them, right? Lip balm. I think you could buy a pack of 2 for less than $3. So what's my point? Why would I even mention that? It's a convenience item. Some items you really shop for. Oh, I want to go and get myself a lawnmower. I'm going to go to this store. I'm going to go to Canadian Tire. I'm going to go to a Home Depot. I want to go to a certain store because there's a certain lawnmower and they've got a sale on, so I'm making a special trip to get a lawnmower or a barbecue, right? That's the opposite of this. This is like a pack of cigarettes or a chocolate bar or a can of Coke. Convenience item. You don't have like a lip balm place you go to. You don't have a place you go to. I mean, unless you have some obscure British chocolate bar or some obscure, there's some Jamaican or Mexican soft drinks. Okay, so you go to a certain part of town. But this, you go literally, there's 10,000 convenience stores. That's why they're called convenience stores. You can be loyal to it if it's right around the corner from your house. But you go there because it is convenient. I don't have a favorite place to buy these. I buy them whenever I want them. On demand. It's like buying smokes. It's like buying a soft drink, bottle of water. You buy it wherever. Convenience. Now I ran out of this last week. Ran out. I used one until it was gone, and I didn't have any more. And there's a drugstore. There's 2 drugstores right across the street from each other. 3 blocks from my house. I could drive there or I could walk there. I've done both. It's so close. It's a convenience item. There's actually convenience stores between my house and these drugstores. I could get this at 4 places within a 5-minute walk of my house, or I could just pop by in the car. Nothing. Never give a thought to it. Probably just grab the loose coins in my, in the cup holders of my car. Just probably grab the loose coins, loonies and toonies, go and buy it. Don't think anything of it. Don't even remember I did it. Daydreaming, probably looking at my phone the whole time. That's what I've been doing for 48 years. That's how I've been buying these. I guess I didn't buy them when I was an infant. But here's what's different this time. They would make me wear a mask. It's stupid. There's no science behind it. But they would make me wear a mask. And you know what I thought? I don't want to wear a stupid mask. That's inconvenient. And they know it's stupid and I know it's stupid, but they're going to make me do it. Or maybe they're true believers. Maybe they're terrified. Maybe they're terrified of the cough. Which is funny because, of course, the mask bylaws only came into effect in the last month, even though the pandemic was officially declared in March. And for the first months when the pandemic was actually on the rise, there were no mask bylaws. So we get through the pandemic, the death rate is near zero, the hospitalization rate is near zero, and they bring in all these mask bylaws. I wore a mask on my own volition in March, April, just because I didn't know what was going on and people were scared. I put it on, frankly, so people weren't scared of me. I only wore it for a few moments here or there. But here we are in September, and I need a lip balm. And I am not going to put on a bloody mask to bend the knee, to embarrass myself, to submit, to buy a $1 or $2 lip balm. And I know it's not the fault of the shopkeeper who's obeying the law. I went into a No Frills the other day. I had to use the bathroom. I walked right in without a mask. No one said it. One guy said something. I sort of mumbled, and he walked by. They didn't care. So maybe I could have gone in without a mask. But if I went to the cashier, they probably would have told me to put on a mask. And I didn't want to get into a fight. So I didn't want to wear a mask. I didn't want to not wear a mask because I didn't want to get into a fight with someone who's not a cop, someone who's not a politician or bureaucrat. I didn't want to fight with a shopkeeper. What do I have a beef with them for? And so you know what I did? I bought this from Jeff Bezos, the world's first $200 billion man. And I wanted one more thing in the drugstore, just deodorant or whatever. So instead of walking, I should have used the exercise, instead of walking for 5 minutes, a few blocks, to the drugstore where I've shopped 100 times, instead of going to an independent convenience store to buy a convenience item, you can buy these anywhere. I needed one of these and a deodorant. What's the cost of that total? $5? I bought it on Amazon. And it was delivered. And it was surely the same price or less. Certainly not more. And it came right here. I didn't even have to walk. I didn't even have to drive. I made Jeff Bezos just a little bit richer. I made my own neighborhood, my own community, people who work and live near me, a little bit poorer. Did I do the wrong thing? I don't know. I don't want to wear a bloody mask. And every shopkeeper and every retailer and every taxpayer and every citizen who supports these unscientific quack rules. Wear a mask. You can only have a cluster of 6 people, but not 7. They call that the rule of 6 in the UK. Everyone who is supporting these stupid rules, social distancing, it's anti-social distancing. It's pulling us apart. And they say you can only be with people, you know, Theresa Tam, have sex with a mask on. Don't tell me about your fetishes, lady. That is not science. Could you, now, no one, I would have to think no one is actually that stupid to believe that, but you never know. You never know. If we are actually giving credit to people who say, have sex with a mask on. I saw a picture, I don't know if you can find it, of 2 people hugging each other. One's a grandma, I think one's a daughter, through a plastic, like a huge sheet of plastic, hugging each other through like this 10-foot by 10-foot sheet of saran wrap. And this was, isn't that wonderful? Wonderful? Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, it was the one on the second row, second from the right. That's the one I saw. Right way there. That's the one I saw. The Weekend Pictures, hugging through plastic. Can you blow that one up? Click on the news story. It looks like an NBC story. Hugging through plastic. What's the caption there? Oh, do you have to sign in or something there? Okay, there's a lot of things to click. Don't worry about it. Just, we saw the picture. This is wonderful. I'm going to hug you through a big sheet of plastic like humans do. If you support that madness, if you tell people, come to my shop where you've been shopping for years, but you got to dress like you got to put a muzzle on, that we all know doesn't work. It's not sealed to your face. It's not like an N95 mask that, I mean, there are people out there who actually wear masks because they have to. Sandblasters, painters, the fumes. There are people, Oh my God. What's the caption on that? Agustina Canamero, 81, and Pascual Perez, 84, hug and kiss through a plastic film screen to avoid contracting the new coronavirus at a nursing home in Barcelona, Spain. That is the grossest thing. I'm working really hard right now not to swear. That is not normal human life. If you think that is good for public health, you're stupid, first of all. You're gullible. You don't understand mental health. You don't understand that health is not just some mania about viruses. It's happiness and calmness and fighting off depression and normal human contact. We're social creatures. So I just needed to buy some stupid Lipsil, whatever, Nivea, lip balm, whatever. And I thought, if they're going to make me wear a mask, and if they're going to kick me out if I don't have a mask, and I can fight them and I can quarrel and I can say I've got an exemption, and I don't have it here in the room, but we've got those mask exemption cards. The Toronto bylaw actually has the best exemption in all of Canada. I've read every mask bylaw in Canada. The Toronto exemption's wonderful. It gives you any health exemption, plus any human rights exemption, which includes beliefs. If your belief system is violated by a mask, you're exempt. But the best part is, shopkeepers are forbidden from asking you to prove you're exempt. So the minute you say you're exempt, no one can actually ask you about it. So that's a wonderful rule, wonderful law. It's actually the best mask bylaw in Canada if you have to have a mask bylaw. But you think the staff at Shoppers Drug Mart know that? And what, you're going to teach them? Going to do a little lawyering, a little homemade lawyering there? It's a mess. Either I have to submit to the stupid, unscientific rules, or I have to be a lawyer and convince these shopkeepers. I told you I go into a Starbucks. Teenagers. I'm gonna argue with some teenage kids about it. What, am I that guy? I'm not that guy. I don't want to be set against my neighbors. And so I click a few buttons. I buy this stupid lip balm from the world's richest man, who has doubled his net worth since the pandemic began. Walmart was never shut down during the pandemic, but the corner stores were. And of course, Netflix was never shut down. Amazon was never shut down. It's flourished, it's blossomed. Microsoft too. Bill Gates, richer than ever. Jeff Bezos, richer than ever. So I made them a little bit richer. I made my own community a little bit poorer because I didn't want to have a quarrel. To eat, restaurants generally are slightly more sane now. Can you believe they're not even open in New York yet? You know, New York had the finest restaurants in the world. You could say Paris was finer, London was finer. No, New York was the finest restaurants in the world, certainly the most. Variety, fabulous restaurants, and cheap restaurants. How many of those are shut down forever? The restaurants is half of New York. No one cooks. It's so expensive. Everyone's single. You don't cook. You don't shop for one. You don't cook for one. Everyone went out. They killed half the New York. As you're out and about, you're mixing with. New York is a social city. You don't have hermits in New York. You don't have recluses in New York. You go out into the street. The streets are always crowded. The amazing thing, the first time they ever go to New York, is you think, what's the party? Is there a festival? No, that's called New York. I like to wake up in a city that never sleeps. The city that never sleeps. The streets are always crowded. People are going out. Let's go out for a coffee. Let's go out for drinks. Let's go out for everyone ate out. Let's go for a slice of pizza. What is that? What is that? Pump up that caption so I can read it. Oh my God. A man and a woman demonstrate dining under a plastic shield in a restaurant in Paris. As restaurants in food-loving France prepare to reopen, some are investing in lampshade-like plastic shields to protect diners from the virus. Oh, is that what's going on there? Now, I don't know if that's husband and wife. They look young and interested in each other, I suppose. They're making eye contact. She's got on a skirt. He's got a T-shirt. I'm guessing that they're going to walk next to each other going in and out of this restaurant. Maybe they might even give each other a kiss, as the French are known to do. I don't know if they're going to have sex with masks on, as Theresa Tam would instruct them, because when I think, who's the sexiest person alive? Who would I really go to for sex advice? I mean, I need to spice up my sex life. Who's going to tell me, give me some, just Google Theresa Tam on the image search. Who is going to tell me how to rock my world? I'm 48 years old. You know, The Pursuit of Happiness, there was an old band in Canadian. They said old people's sex is either boring or dirty. So who can I go to? Who can I trust on how to spice up my sex life? Theresa Tam. Theresa Tam is who I look to bring a little excitement back into my life, put a little spring in my step. Hey guys, wear a mask. You're barefoot all over, but you got a mask on. Can you believe it? Can you believe we're listening to that fool? Go back to that Paris picture again. What does that even mean? They're going to leave and be in the same car, probably. They might even kiss, like the French do. And they're sitting under a couple of lampshades. Does that sound fun to you? Or would you just go to door to... I mean, listen, go to that one. Now, look, you got a staff wearing that visor, whatever. I think it's BS. But you're expecting customers? Oh yeah, a robot. That sounds like a really nice night out. I really like to... Who's your robot going to be tonight? I wonder if they're going to be funny. I wonder if they're going to be cute. I wonder if they're going to have some banter. I was a waiter for 4 years when I was in college. It's a social job. You read the table. No, let's get a robot out there. That sounds like a really great night out. Oh, which robot did you get? I got the red robot. Look at that theater there with all the seats taken out. Oh, that looks really great. That looks like a great night out, and I can imagine the energy you feel on stage. And I don't know if you can see that there. Do you know who that person on the left is there? That's a mannequin. Patrick O'Connell, chef at the inn at Little Washington, poses with mannequins. Oh, I guess they're all mannequins. The guy back poses with mannequins in the inn's dining room in Washington, Virginia. On May 2020, the inn, a Michelin-starred restaurant, has found a fun or creepy way to enforce social distancing during the coronavirus pandemic when it reopened at the end of May. Fun or creepy? I'd say not fun, yes, creepy. Scroll down. Yeah, woo, let's go to the ballpark. That's awesome. That's awesome. If the social justice take a knee crowd didn't make you come to sports, oh my God, I'm deeply embarrassed. Keep your distance. Hey, when you're wearing a hat like that, when you're wearing a hat like that, you don't need me to tell me to keep my distance from you. I sort of know that. Oh, and this one there, is that Trinity Bellwoods in Toronto? In this file photo taken on May 17th, people are seen practicing social distancing in white circles in Domino Park. That's in New York City. Yeah, let's go down to the park. Maybe I'll meet someone. You know, meet your neighbors, have some fun. Not at all some dystopian prison. Hey, it's springtime, New York, city of the most singles in the world in New York. Because it's too expensive to be married there. When you get married, you leave the city. Let's go downtown to the park and meet people. Yeah, other psychos. Scroll down. Is there any more? That's it. Yeah, that's enough. So my point is, I was denied the social interaction in my neighborhood with my neighbors. Not that I'm friends with the clerks at the drugstore, but I say, hey, how you doing? Give them a few bucks, buy whatever I want. It's a tiny bit of social interaction. It roots you a tiny bit to your street, your neighborhood, your place. You walk on the street to go there. You pass other people. Maybe you say hi or wave or just nod. I don't know. One of my favorite things growing up in the country, which I miss in the city, and it's weird in the city. Well, in the country where I grew up for the first 17 years of my life, it's not crowded. It might be minutes on the road before you see another car. And especially if it's on a gravel road and you're not going that fast, you just drive by, you always wave. You wave to anyone else you see because you know what? You don't know who it is and you might need their help in a moment, and it's just the country way of doing things. How are you? How are you? Might sound crazy to city folk, but it's actually one of my favorite things about growing up in the country. And I don't go through the streets of Toronto, hi. You'd be great, you'd be a madman to do that. But maybe you're walking by someone on a sidewalk, you're the only two people, you make eye contact, you just go like that, go like that. You don't go, hi, that's a little, you don't do that. But maybe you go like that, maybe you go like this. Or maybe you go, how are you? In the olden days, they would say, how do you do? The polite generation, they'd say, how do you do? Or good day to you, or nice day. You're not a maniac. You just go, even if you just go, That's gone. Don't go out in the streets. And even if you did that now, people have a mask. You can't even read a person's expression. Is that a smile or a wince? So this stupid little lip balm, which I probably saved myself 30 cents on the product. I either saved myself 30 cents in gas money or the exercise I should have had going there. I deprived my local store of the money. I made an evil man, Jeff Bezos, who I think we can call evil. I won't get into that now. I made him a little bit richer, all because of the stupid mask laws. Now multiply that by 1 billion, and then 1 billion again. Multiply that by every city in town. I was reading someone I think it might have been Peter Hitchens, who said, there are senior citizens in my neighborhood who will never leave their house again. I thought, come on. No, I know what he means. They're not going to go out for a stroll again. They're afraid. Afraid either of the virus, because they've been panicked, or afraid of police arresting them. They arrest people now. They're not going to go out to the pub again. They're not going to go to the restaurant again. They're not going to go traveling again. They're not going to go out again. There are people, I would say mainly in their 70s and 80s, who will really never leave their house again. And I don't mean never, ever, ever. They'll run out here and run back. They'll run out and run back. But they will be effectively prisoners for the rest of their lives. They've been so spooked, so panicked. It's a great evil that's being done to us all. The first evil was by China, but the far larger evil was done to us by our own politicians. Marcus Klassen, $5. Hi Ezra, you and your people are amazing. How do you stay so upbeat and inspiring while covering such depressing subject matter almost constantly? Yes, haven't I been uplifting today? You want depressing? How about coming up next, sex expert. Dr. Teresa Tam takes all your sexy questions on how to be sexy. Call 1-800 Tam is sexy. Hey, Dr. Tam. Oh, we got a caller online. This is a couple of lovebirds out there. They want some advice from you. Wear a mask. Next. I just wish, there's some things once you see, you can never unsee them. When you know something, sometimes you can never unknow it. I wish I could unknow Teresa Tam's advice for sex. I'm trying to say this without gagging. Unjust on Trudeau, $5, 9/11. Isn't that the number to call to turn in COVID rule breakers? Guessing that is what Andrew will get for some answers. I look forward to seeing what he has to say. Copa de Sao, 55 Norwegian kroner. I'm about 6 months younger than you, and we had the Vietnam War in our classroom all through the 80s, every day. Book name, China Virus. Yeah, China Virus is my book about, well, the subtitle is How Justin Trudeau's Pro-Communist Ideology is Putting Canadians in Danger. It's a Canada-centric book. Unjust on Trudeau, Ezra in Canada. Do employees have much to stand on against their employers if the employer is mandating a mask? What's the best recourse? I think it's in every jurisdiction in Canada, there is human rights legislation. And the phrase of human rights legislation, even if there is not human rights legislation, just employment law, and in most, I would say, union agreements, there's something called reasonable accommodation. So let's say you have a wheelchair. Let's say you have to be in a wheelchair. Your employer has to make reasonable accommodation. So maybe put in a little ramp for you or a little button to open a door. That might be called reasonable accommodation. But let's say you are a rock climbing instruction company. Let's say you're a rock climbing adventure tourism company and someone is in a wheelchair. It's not a reasonable accommodation to accommodate someone in a wheelchair, generally speaking, for rock climbing. So the law would say that's not a reasonable accommodation for this company. So if you're a bus driver who's blind, it's not a reasonable accommodation for you to be hired by a bus company, but maybe there's another job that if you're blind, the company can make some reasonable accommodations to accommodate you. So that is the law. And if you have asthma or a respiratory issue or any other medical issue, I'm not a doctor, that makes wearing a mask inappropriate, it is absolutely reasonable accommodation for your employer to say, yeah, no worries, the law's bullshit anyways. I mean, come on, there's no science behind these masks anyways. It is literally no problem whatsoever for a company to say, okay, you don't need a mask. No one was wearing a mask a month ago anyway, so it's actually normal. The weird part is putting the masks in a workplace. So if an employer commands you to wear a mask and you have any sort of respiratory reason why not to, I would think you have a strong case, but you should get a professional employment lawyer's opinion on that. I'm just telling you what I know about reasonable accommodation. Oh, let me scroll up here a little bit. Truth on the Wind, $5. Did you learn what MISC is, Ezra? We're still leading the right into BS and lies on MISC, growing CCP Muppet now, Ezra, or just fake right? Every day you ask me that, every day you pay $5 to say that, and every day I think, oh shoot, I forgot to Google that. I'm sorry, that's just, I'm going to Google it right now. Although it is nice to have your $5 every day. Multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome in children. I presume that's what you're talking about. Corona, I'm just Googled it. I'm looking here, I'll send you the link that I'm reading. I'm just going to spend a minute on this. So I just Googled it. First hit that came up is the British Columbia Centers for Disease Control. The Canadian Pediatric Society, just if you want to throw that on the screen, I think it's sending you. The Canadian Pediatric Society issued a public health alert to notify of a acute inflammatory syndrome temporally linked to COVID-19 that's being reported in children and teenagers. Children with this condition present with the symptoms of system blah, 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 toxic shock. If you see a child with features that could be in keeping with MISC, obtain a comprehensive history of exposure to a person with COVID-19, unexplained fever, Kawasaki disease. All right, I have to be honest, I don't understand this, and I'm not likely to get a good understanding in real time while we're doing a live stream. So I've Googled it. I don't understand it. I can understand. Are you leading the right into BS and lies? Chinese Communist Party Muppet. Now Ezra or just fake red key. I can understand those words, but I don't really understand what MISC is. Ray W, £5. Thanks, Rebel. Well, thank you. Sir Alexander Foll, $5. There is a Barrie, Ontario adult club posting Facebook videos of girls dancing on stage with masks on. That's funny. It's a must-see. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds really hot. That's where Teresa Tam and her staff go to blow off steam after a hard day's work making orders about masks. They all go out to the adult club and just blow off some steam, get a little crazy with the girls who are wearing masks. That's hot. Hillary Waugh, $2. Have you heard of Cuties on Netflix? Parents Beware. Yes, and I think we're going to have a video up today on that subject. Thank you. Unjust on Trudeau, $5. Ezra, my wife claims that kissing helps avoid chapped lips. I think it's true, so try that one on the missus. Well, I know my pirate songs and my sailor songs, and one of them goes, it's called Holloway Joe. And it starts, when I was a little boy, or so my mother told me, if I wouldn't kiss the girls, me lips would grow all moldy. Once I had an Irish girl. She was fat and lazy. Then I had a Scottish girl. She damn near drove me crazy. So this is where I got a lot of my wisdom from. Sailor songs, every single one of which is politically incorrect. Can you go to Holloway Joe by the Eskies and just give me the first 30 seconds of that? Because I'll never forget, and I teach that, I got a little one, and I say, if you didn't kiss the girls, your lips will get all moldy. Take a look.
Are we in the right key?
Yeah, we are.
I don't know.
It's not too
Oh! Right.
Shut up.
They're mocking us. You ready? Now when I was a little boy, so my mother told me, Timmy, hey, Holloway, we'll haul away Joe, that if I didn't kiss the girls, my lips would grow all moldy. Timmy, hey, Holloway, we'll haul away Joe. Up. Hey, Holloway, the good ship now is rolling. Timmy, hey, Holloway, we'll haul away Joe. First I met a Yankee girl, she was fat and lazy. Hey, Holloway, we'll haul away Joe. Then I met an Irish girl, she damn near drove me crazy. Timmy, hey, Holloway, we'll haul away Joe. Up, King Louis was the king of France before the revolution. Timmy, hey.
Then they done con off his head and spoiled the Constitution. I don't know what you think of Irish sailing songs, but I can't get enough of them. So yes, I did know the fact that if I did not kiss the girls, my lips would grow all moldy. Thanks for that little detour there. Happy to give the monetization of this video to the Eskies who earn it. You know, he's pretty good. He's got a great song. He's got a great cover of Wicked Game. Since we're giving him all the money from today, we get the super chats. Don't worry about that. He gets the ad money. Can you get me the Eskies Wicked Game? They do a cover of the Chris Isaak song. It's great. It's great. And I know you're here for the politics, but there was an earlier question, how do you stay sane? Can I not listen to some music? Even politically correct music. I think I've shown you some of my pirate sailing songs before. It was a year ago. Someone thought they made the mistake of asking me what music I listened to, and I don't think the answer was well received. But I love that song, Holloway Joe. It's such a catchy song. It's a great rowing song, sailing song. And that band's called the Eskies. And they do a cover of Wicked Game. We're giving them the ad money from this super chat, obviously. We keep the super chats. They get the ad money. It's fine. They earn it. Take a listen to this.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. Strange what desire can make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. I never dreamed that I'd love somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. This girl is only gonna break your heart. No, I don't wanna fall in love. This girl is only gonna break your heart. With you, with you, with you.
Great job on the cover. And would you agree with me that that song by Chris Isaak, I presume he wrote it, is one of the most beautiful love songs ever written? Would you agree with that, Justin? Unbelievable. I mean, just throw just for a minute the original video up, black and white. Chris, we're getting into just give me 5 seconds of it. I'm happy giving them the ad money. I just don't want a copyright strike. Just give me 5. I just want to show what it was like. Chris Isaak, 1990s, black and white. He was handsome, of course, a supermodel in the vid, and an unbelievably beautiful song. Great musician.
World was on fire and no one could save me
A
but
little bit of Elvis. Bit of an Elvis feeling.
strange what desire will make foolish people do.
Just unbelievable. Don't want to get a copyright strike, but one of the most beautiful love songs ever written, I believe. Why don't we get back to things? Lots of super chats. Don't get me started on the great songs out there. There's so many. I got a lot of opinions on songs. You don't want to hear them all. Kane Enmark, $2. Netflix is now Pornhub for pedophile now. Oh, that, it's so gross. Like, these girls are, there's a phrase, children of tender years. They're not like infants or toddlers, but they're prepubescent girls that are sexualized, and Netflix is rolling it out, a pedophile movie. Ferris Bueller, $20. Dennis G. Rancourt, PhD. Former professor of physics at the University of Ottawa, published Masks Don't Work article. He has compiled all data, RCT studies over the past 13 years that clearly show masks ineffective. Thank you for that tip. MO1, $7. So is our medical expert suggesting that she's been told to wear a bag over her head, maybe a double bag? Well, she said what she said. Selena Goring, $5. Have you read the article in the Buffalo Chronicle about Trudeau and his marriage and affairs? How much truth to this, I wonder? I do not put any stake in the Buffalo Chronicle. I think it actually is, not all the time, but some of the time, fake news. And I don't say that casually, because I don't like that as an epithet, but they just run any speculative thing. And I think it's just a political gossip dumping ground. Sorry. It is true, extrinsically, of the Buffalo Chronicle, that Justin Trudeau and his wife have been separated for, at least 6 months during the pandemic. She often doesn't wear a ring. He lives on his own in Reno Cottage. She lives with the kids at Harrington Lake. So I guess that part is true. The affairs part, I don't know. She did give the coronavirus to Idris Elba. That could have been just through talking or non-intimate relations. So there's an underlying truth to the fact they're separated, but I don't know what I wouldn't put any stock in the Buffalo Chronicle. MEC, 18 bucks. Love Rebel, thank you. Happy 50th birthday to my niece, Suzanne. Well, that's pretty friendly. Xanax, 2 bucks. Your next book should be The Balm of Ezra. Half-Blind Hecklers, 5 bucks. Thank you for serving Canada. Do you have any advice for up-and-coming Canadian podcasters? Yes, do it every day. Do it every day, but do it shorter than you think. Do it for 15 minutes a day. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice coming up with new things every day. Practice getting comfortable. Practice with the banter. It's one thing to do it once. Can you do it a second time? Okay, now can you do it a third time? And now can you do it every day? Keep it short. Half-Blind Heckler, just read that one. Mathieu Phillips, $14. I'm glad Cian Bexley demonstrated journalism to our state-run hacks when he asked Premier Kenney a relevant question. Also, I canceled my Netflix subscription. Can you guess why? It's pedophilia, not MAP. Cian did a great job there. There was this, it was quite something. A bunch of Indian bands do a fossil fuels deal to build a natural gas power station in concert with the Alberta government. It's just like all these boxes checked. And I didn't read the technical details of the deal myself. I think it's Aboriginal investment, but the loan is guaranteed by the province. I don't know the nature of the deal. What I do know is it's development-oriented, fossil fuel-oriented Indian bands building a natural gas power station. What's not to love? Can we play the clip where all the reporters, all these fancy reporters call into this press conference? All the Indian chiefs are there, some in their full regalia, and every single media party journalist just has some pandemic panic question to ask. Not one of them cares about Indians when they're pro-oil and gas. Now, if these Indians, on the other hand, and I say Indians because they're status Indians under the Indian Act, it's a legal definition. If these Indians were against oil, gas, Kenny, that would be all they would talk about. They don't care about Indians who are pro-development. It's like the left. They love black people, unless they're like Candace Owens or Kanye West, who dare to question the status quo. There's nothing more vicious than a liberal who sees a black, gay, whatever, Hispanic person not following the leftist narrative. Just take a look at these media party reporters. I think it was in the video. I think it was, in fact, even the cold open of all these mainstream media journalists saying, thanks, Mr. Kenney. I don't really care about pro-oil Indians, but I've got some crazy question for you about pandemics that I want to just talk about because, just take a look.
This is Rafi Buchakanian with CBC. Go ahead, Rafi.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. It's for the Premier, and it's not related to today's subject.
Good afternoon, and this is also not related to the announcement today. Apologies.
Unrelated to today's press conference, but...
Hi, it's Cian Bexley with Rebel News here. I'll try and put the busting up of the Alberta Press Gallery's monopoly on journalistic access to good use and actually ask an on-topic question.
That was great. So you hear a bunch of journalists saying, yeah, I don't care about these Indians. Let me talk to you about my own pet projects, and no one does. And then Cian says, well, got into the press, busted up the press gallery monopoly. I'm actually going to ask about the news of the day. And you saw the Premier sort of chuckle there. I thought that was just great. Oh, the press gallery hates us so bad. But alas, they can't keep us out anymore. Where were we? Copa Dessau, another 22 Norwegian kroner. More books, everyone's tool. Every tool's a hammer, Poirot and me. Okay. It's 12:53. Is anybody still here after I forced people to watch my sailing videos? Okay. Did we show the Spanish knee on the neck video? Not on this show. This is a mask thing because there's no proper way to wear those non-surgical masks. Or surgical masks, whatever they're called. There's a proper way to wear an N95 mask. You need a seal around your face to keep the fine particulates out. Do you know what sandblasting is? It's just what it sounds like. They take sand and they blow it extremely fast against a surface. It's the grit of the sand. It has incredible effects on different It could blast moss off of a rock, for example. You could blast a brick to give it a sandblasted look. It's sort of like when you have blue jeans. They're very dark blue, but you can sort of stonewash them to rough them up. That's what sandblasting is. But as it sounds, there's all this powdery sand in the air. It would be terrible for your lungs. So sandblasters wear a mask and usually goggles because they really need it. And they're keeping out particles of sand that are not quite, I guess some of them would be microscopic, but they're really small. So they take masks seriously. Same thing for painters sometimes because of fumes, right? So that's not a make-believe. There are some people who really do need masks. If you're with paints, the fumes could overcome you, so you actually need something that seals and a source of air, and there are real masks out there. Scuba masks. They have to be watertight, right? There's a lot of real masks. The masks that we're all being told to wear are not real masks. And so there is no right way to wear them, medically speaking. You see a lot of people, the mask goes beneath their nose because they don't want to breathe through a cloth through their nose. It's not comfortable. They'll breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth, maybe. So a lot of people you see just doing that. I think I told you there was a bakery just a couple blocks away. It's my favorite bakery. I'm not going to name it. I've been going there for years. And I go in there, and the baker, who I know, and I'm there to order some stuff for the place here, so it's not a small order. She says, put your mask on. I swear to God, did I tell this story before? I swear to God, hand on a Bible. She was wearing her mask under her chin like it was like a beard thing. Like it wasn't on her mouth or nose. Like it wasn't even like this. It was like this. It was like this. It was like that. And she says to me, put on your mask in here. I said, it's just me. She said, put on your mask. I said, you're not even wearing your mask on your face. She said, I'm wearing it. You know what? I want to make a confession. That was actually the last time I went to that bakery. I haven't been back. You think I want to go into my old favorite bakery? And we would buy a lot of food for our office from there. Like, we've surely spent thousands of dollars there. We probably spent $5,000 there over the course of time we've been at this location. I'm not kidding. Because we get, and I'm not going to say I'm friends with them, but I would say, hey, how you doing? And I would meet people there for lunch and breakfast or whatever. You know, now that I think about it, and this wasn't conscious of me. I didn't say, I'm never going back. I just thought, I'm there to pick up like a couple $100 worth of stuff for the office, and I can't even remember. I think we were ordering lunch or whatever. I don't know. She's wearing the mask, so she doesn't even believe in the mask. She's wearing it under her chin. She scolds me for not wearing it. I said, you're wearing it under your chin. I'm still wearing it. Why are you pitting yourself against me? Guess what? I haven't been back to your bakery. Okay, great. So now I'm buying things on DoorDash or Uber Eats. So I guess someone's still getting paid, and the tech companies are getting some money. But not so good for waiters and waitresses anymore, bartenders, busboys. Hundreds of little people around it, but the ruling class, they're fine. I don't like being pitted against, I'm not saying that bakery person was, in fact, the lady who scolded me, I don't even know her name, to be honest. I just know her because I'm always in there. I don't need to be pitted against her. That's my lip balm story. I don't need to be pitted against people. I'm not saying I was close friends with the baker. There's like a husband and wife, and then there's a couple of regular staff there. I'm not friends with them, but I'm a friendly acquaintance, and they would recognize me, and they would make small talk. Well, you know, that's what we call a neighborhood. You know, when you start to know, okay, well, I go in there for convenience store, and I go for the bakery, and there's a little restaurant, and I get my gas there, and I get my Red Bull there, whatever. That's called a neighborhood. You have a sense of community. You put down a little bit of roots. There's the bank. You go to the bank. It's called a neighborhood. And now I'm pitted against the people in my neighborhood, and they're scolding me, or I'm scolding them. They're telling me what to do, or I'm litigating back at them and say, well, here's the mask exemption. You think that's good for society's health, mental health, social health, stress? I haven't been back to that bakery. I have no hard heart towards them. She said, why would I go back to get a little lecture? And I'm not saying that the people there are dumb, although it is a little weird to wear a mask under your chin and school me. That is a little dumb. But they're not cops. They're not bylaw officers. They're not RCMP. They're not lawyers. They're not trained in this. They've been told to implement a stupid, vague, and senseless law. Can I really be mad at them? Or do I have to go in lawyer style every time? Oh, that's going to be nice. So, I just don't go. And do you think I'm the only one? I bet between people utterly terrified that will never leave their house again, and people who just say, I don't need the hassle. I don't need the scolding. I think it's a huge percentage of people. But look, let's say you're trying to do the right thing. It's 1 o'clock. I just want to show one last video. So you wear the stupid mask. But you're not wearing it quite right. But like I say, there is no quite right. I mean, it's not under your chin like the bakery lady. But you're not wearing it quite right. Look at this cop in Spain take down a masked criminal. Take a look.
¡Ay, no la apretes tanto! ¡No la apretes, abusador! ¡Ese cabrón! ¿Has oído, cabrón? Eso van las autoridades. ¡Grábalo! ¡Grábalo! ¡Autoridades, vas a ir, abusador! ¡Que es un menor! ¡Que no le pegas, hermano! ¡Mata a tu mujer! ¡Oiga! ¡Que es un menor! ¡Que es un menor! ¡No es una vergüenza! ¡Ya te digo yo! ¡Abusadores! ¡Abusadores! ¡Para! ¡Mire! ¡Es un menor! ¡16 años!
I saw 3 cops there. I saw 1 cop car. I heard a siren of another police car arriving. I saw a neck on the knee. That's in Spain. Because a 14-year-old boy wasn't wearing the mask just right. So this was for public health, you see. This was a net improvement to public health. At no time the police thought, what am I doing? No time that thought just didn't cross their mind. To serve and protect. Which part of to serve and protect was that? It's bad enough when bakers tell me what I can and can't wear, but police who should know better, who have training in the law, who are sworn to uphold the law? My book was called China Virus, and I wrote it in April. Amazon delayed it for 2 months, censored it. And the book speaks for itself. It talks about Trudeau's obedience to Communist China. But I no longer regard China as the problem. I mean, China's a perpetual problem. It's a chronic problem. We have to marginalize, decouple China. We have to sanction China. We have to expel their diplomats and spies. We have to stop the privileged children of Communist Party officials from coming to school at U of T and UBC. We have to kick out the Confucius Institutes. We have to send home a diplomat a week until the 2 Michaels are returned. We have to ban Huawei from this country. We have to vote against any Chinese candidate at the United Nations. We have to decouple any military partnerships. Did you know that Canada sent over 100 people from our military to the Chinese military games in Wuhan, China in the fall? Do you know we're doing insane stuff like that? We got to cut off all foreign aid to China. Do you know we're still giving foreign aid to China? We got to cut off all contracts with any entity associated with the People's Liberation Army. We've got to sanction any companies doing business in Xinjiang, including, that's where the Uyghurs are, including, for example, mask making that's done by slave labor. There's about 20 things we got to do. We got to ban WeChat. We got to ban TikTok because they're banning our apps, Facebook, Twitter, and they're spying on us. It's about 20 things we got to do. But that's not the problem now. That's China is not why we have a mask lockdown. China is why we had the pandemic in March and April. Pandemic peaked mid-April. Pandemic was over by May. June it was flatline. July it was done. August it was done. September it's done. They bring in the mask law now. So yes, the problem was China. Absolutely. And I just gave you a list of 20 things we have to do to China. But it wasn't China that put the knee on the neck of that 14-year-old boy in Spain, was it? It wasn't China who told my baker to tell me to get out of the bakery. Hey, message received. It wasn't something conscious. I just have not gone back to that bakery. She told me to get out, and I guess I did. And we were for a while there. We were getting lunch every day from there. That's cost her a lot of money. Well, look at who's here. We got a little puppy on the show. I'll wrap up. I won't. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll end. We have some super chats. I don't know if it's logistically possible to have a live puppy on the show. I mean, but normally we end with a puppy video, but we have a live puppy. Let me just whip through the super chats, and then maybe we'll wrap up with a live puppy, because we like to. Can you remind me the name of the puppy? Benny. Okay, I didn't know that. In a moment, we're going to give me 1 minute to whip through super chats, and then can Benny come in? Okay, let me go through the super chats. Truth on the Wind, $5. In my opinion, MISC is a weapon used by the Communist Party and hidden in the COVID fog of BS and info played for months, and now nasty is popping while China has zero happening. All right, I'll look more into it. Michael Lefebvre, $10. Ezra, I do a lot of traveling and work out of my truck. I purchased your book, China Virus. If there's a way I can purchase your audiobook from you guys, if Amazon is not letting you publish. We have gone back and forth on that audiobook with Amazon for about a month and a half now, but we believe that we've gone through all the hoops, so we hope to have that there. It is 1:06 p.m., and I see Benny the doggy by our alumna, Jessica Svietlanevsky. What a pleasure to see you. Hi, how you doing? Great to see you. Well, come on into the camera here.
Hey, everybody.
Well, and look at Benny the doggy. What a great little dog. Oh, he's licking me. What a little doggy. What a great doggy. Well, it's nice to see you. How are you doing these days?
Great. I've been busy with a puppy.
Yeah, how old's this little puppy?
He's 10 weeks.
10 weeks, and what a lively little guy. Well, everyone's going to be thrilled to see. And how's he coming along in practicing being a good dog?
Oh, he's a very good dog.
Is he a good dog?
Yeah.
Like, what would give him like an 11 out of 10 kind of thing?
11 out of 10?
Yeah.
Probably 11 out of 10.
Yeah, what kind of stuff is he doing?
Can I put him on the table?
Sure, and here, I'll bring my microphone out, not for the doggy, but it's a little hard to hear you. Well, we got a doggy.
Let's see what you can do here. Ben.
Now it's hard to hear me too. So tell us a little bit about Benny.
Benny is a golden doodle. He's 10 weeks old, and he can sit.
Well, you got little treats for him.
Yeah, treats are the big trick to get a dog to pay attention to you. Can you lay down? Oh, you see that?
Well, he's performing very nicely. And he's very good at lying down, very good at sitting. What else is he practicing?
He knows he's trying to learn the word no. Can you give shake? Shake? Oh, did anyone see that? I swear he can do it.
He's doing so well. Learning the word no is something I've been working on for 48 years. I still don't really listen to it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially for the boys.
And what are you giving him there?
Those are some kind of bacon treats.
Okay.
Pet Value said they fly off the shelves, so only the best for Benny.
Well, listen, we normally end the show with a little doggy video because it makes us feel 10, 20% better. There's Benny, the happy doggy puppy, and he's doing such a great job. And what fun to have a special guest appearance by our alumna, Jessica Svietlanevsky. Great to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye, Benny. Bye, Jessica. Bye, everybody.